not all hot rods and race cars around here. Imports is something we do too. This is the 2003 350Z. Clearly not stock. As you can tell, it's had a bit done. Wheels, tires, hood. Okay, it's had a lot done. But obviously the thing we want to point out here is the fact that this thing is slammed on the ground. And as you can see, it sits perfectly comfortable on our alignment rack. It's one of the best parts about Lucore Automotive is we have the ability to work on pretty much anything. If you can drive it down the road, we can get it on a rack. One of the things you run into at a lot of alignment shops is they're willing to set things back to factory specs, but they have absolutely no ability to set things into a custom spec. When you change all of the geometry underneath the car with coilovers or even with lowering springs, the geometry of how your car needs to be set up can be completely different than factory alignment specs. You're going to click on the thing and it's going to say, this is a 2003 Nissan, this is how this needs to be set. Not the case. Especially if you're going to be, we'll call it an enthusiast. If you're running around the track in a straight line, you need one setup. If you're running around a track with curves, you need another setup. If you're on the street, you need a different setup. So it all depends on what you're going to do with the car, how we set it up. We can do it all, we just need to know what you want out of the vehicle. But what we're talking about today is not necessarily alignment and suspension work. We want to show off some exhaust work that we did for this customer. So this particular car came in with a shorty header setup already on the car. The fitment wasn't bad. Unfortunately, the shorty header setup and the rest of the exhaust setup were from two different manufacturers. And sometimes you can run into some fitment issues and things don't exactly line up exactly perfectly. So there were some vibration issues in that exhaust. It actually ended up cracking the exhaust on a weld back towards the rear end due to those vibrations and the tension that's in that metal. So off with the old, on with the new. Now we have a brand new setup from headers all the way to the back from ISR Performance. Their long tube header setup into a true dual exhaust, connecting into a single Y that comes back, goes out the back, splits into two, and cuts out at the rear. Awesome setup. Really easy installation. Fitment was excellent. In the aftermarket, you can always run into something. This one was actually pretty easy. On this install, as I said, most everything went pretty clean. One thing we did have to change is there's typically a cross brace that comes across here that goes underneath the drive shaft and the exhaust. Your factory drive shaft, or your factory exhaust runs through on this side. So typically speaking, there's a brace that comes across here. As you can see, where this exhaust lays, or where this exhaust runs directly under the drive shaft, if we were to still have this brace here, there would be no room between that brace and the bottom of this exhaust pipe. So this piece was cut out so we can allow this exhaust to come directly through there. But as you can see, the fitment's actually excellent. You've got room between the drive shaft and the exhaust. Your O2 sensors are placed exactly where they need to be. Nothing we're going to run into there. Now this is an off-road only setup, so this is for track use only. Let's fire this thing up so you can see what this thing sounds like. There you go, a 2003 Nissan 350Z with the ISR Performance long tube header and exhaust kit. Hope you've enjoyed this. Hope it helps you out with your purchases. As always, like, comment, give us a subscribe. We'll see you next time.